another amazing, exclusive, and frankly, honest edition of Good Morning Tone Town. I'm one of your co-hosts, Alex, better known as Super Danger.
I am your other co-host, always known as Tom Butwin, and I'm back. I'm so happy to be back, man. I missed Tone Town last week, but the episode I watched the episode, both parts, and it was fun. It was fun. It was fun to be on the other side. So
me coughing on. I mean, I had hair in my coffee. I had construction right outside the window. I was coughing up a storm. Brad, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Tone Town. I got my Bruce Springsteen kind of attitude right now, right?
You look great. Looks amazing.
And I'm a working man.
That's right. I'm wearing a PRS shirt even though they didn't pay me to. So hopefully
that's the best.
Hopefully there's no hair in my coffee.
I drank all the coffee in a pot already. Can you believe it?
I have been coughing a lot, and there's no construction, so we're okay. We're good. Whatever happens it's gonna be great. We didn't do the A chord yet though.
I'm sorry. Ready? 1, 2, 3, everyone. So, Tom, I have a proposition for you.
Bring it.
In fact, I have a challenge for you.
Okay.
Tyson, welcome. And a challenge for everyone that is going to watch this. I challenge. Well, let me go back to the genesis, the beginning of this thought. Oftentimes, I'm asked, Alex, what's your practice routine? To which I reply, I don't know. I play things, and sometimes I get better, and then sometimes I play things, and it makes me get worse. So my challenge to you is, let's come up with a practice routine. Not the same one. We'll pick what we want. In 30 days, we'll compare and contrast, and we'll document it, right? We're not going to post about it every day, obviously, but document this journey, right? This metamorphosis. And because I think people need some structure. I mean, I need some structure. Do you?
Absolutely, because I find I pick up the guitar and I just noodle and play, and it's like, what am I doing? There'll be like brief moments of like, oh, I should dig in and practice, and then it's like I'm off to God knows what else, and there's no routine.
And so 30 days, and I think just 30 minutes of practicing. I think going any more than 30 minutes, it gets into like I need to be a player. You know what I mean? And we have other things to do. And I think that's reasonable for everyone else. Right. Brad, that's fine too. My practice is watching other people talk about practice.
Yeah,
because they don't practice. The videos about practice is just talking.
My practice is texting Alex, asking why, and lamenting my failures on YouTube, as opposed to playing guitar and getting better.
And we'll talk about your YouTube channel in a second here too, because I want everyone to know what's happening.
Yeah, it's worth it.
So this is what we should do. Let's divide it into 3 parts, right?
Okay.
Because everyone loves 3s. The first part is going to be dexterity. Like, what are you going to do to improve your dexterity? Okay. The second part is, what are you going to do to improve your fluency on the fretboard? And then the last part is, what are you going to do to improve your musicality? So, note choice and tone, I think, is included under that. So, like, because people go like, "Well, practice right hand, practice left hand," and I'm like, yeah, but that's like boring. So I don't want to do that. I want it to be less tangible. It's like, wow, I can play like 180 BPM, like flat pick. It's like, okay, well, that's good, but I'm not in a bluegrass band, so like I don't need to really worry about that. But I do want to be more intentional about what I practice. So after this 30-day challenge, if we find that, okay, that was not rigorous enough, we'll reconvene in 3 months and do another 30-day challenge.
All right.
Noticing the theme here, triads. Mm-hmm. And then we'll move on. But I think that first, so dexterity, fluency, musicality. Yeah. So and I'll pick it. So I'll post a thing tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Saturday. No one watches on Saturday. Monday. No one's gonna watch. I'll post on Monday what my challenge is gonna be. It'll just be a very impromptu phone video, right? And I'll issue the challenge to everyone else. There's not going to be no reward because your improvement as a guitarist is its own reward. So, but I'll issue the challenge to you. We'll come up with something. We'll have a little hashtag. And if anyone wants to join us on this challenge, I strongly encourage you, because the only way you're going to get better is if you commit. And if you commit publicly, it's way more likely you're going to do it.
This is true. This is true. I think perfect. Should we define, maybe give some ideas in each one of those categories?
Yes. Yes, that's a good idea.
Help people as well as me develop a practice plan. And I think, if it's going to be 30 days, there's going to be things. It's not going to be necessarily the same. Well, I mean, maybe it will be the same things in each one of those categories, but that might change a bit as you move through. But let's see, 335 with P90s. Yeah, it's close to that. It's a 330 with P90s, and the big difference is that it's totally hollow. The 335 has a block down the middle, so this is like way lighter and much more prone to feedback. So,
but it looks so cool. I saw it. I've never seen that one. And he showed up on the live with that. I'm like, this guy,
this guy.
It just made me jealous.
It's one of the good all of my guitars, which I am not worthy to play, but I have. So.
No, don't say that. Everyone's worthy to play anything they want. So
you know what?
Okay, let's go through these skills though. Let's go through these skills.
Dexterity, number one.
Dexterity. So what I'm going to be doing on dexterity, as lame as it is, and everyone it is, I'll be doing, because like everyone knows like you should practice that, but I don't think everyone really practices it the right way. So I think what's key here, even picking and doing it to a metronome, and it's only 5 minutes, so you can. And it's going down and down. And then the second part of the dexterity is bending and just doing whole notes and bending and bending and bending and bending, because I think that's just like getting warmed up and getting that finger right and using my correct. I will say that one guy that was on my case about my thumb over, he's right when it comes to bends. Like you gotta have your thumb back there. And just do bends up and bends down. Again, we're not trying to win an award there. That would be dexterity. For fretboard fluency, I'm going to start off with doing finding all the triads, right? So if it's obviously I don't know it all the way up there. Major, minor, and then diminished, just to find them all the way up. And I think start there and then work my way to like flat fifths and sharp 13th, stuff like that. I'll do that later. But the first 10 days, I'm just going to do that for fluency, and then finding the same notes. Where is it? So going all the fretboard, finding all those notes on every string, and just going over and be like, okay, and doing that into a metronome too. Boom, don, 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 don. Because the key is also through all this is trying to play it and make it sound nice. Because like you can like do a technique drill, but if it doesn't sound good, it's like you're not really practicing how to make your guitar sound good. And that brings us to the last one, which is musicality. You have to have an intention and a focus on playing things nice, make it sound very nice. So musicality, the last one would be, I don't know, I got to study for that last one. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for it. I have
an idea.
Sure. Yeah, here. Yeah.
Do you want to? So we'll go back up the list. So we'll start musicality for me, and we'll go back up through fluency and dexterity, because I think I might need some help on some fluency ideas too. So musicality, and we talked about this, and a lot of people talk about it. I'm going to start by singing what I want to play.
Yes.
And I'm going to record what I sing, not just try to remember it. Like I'll play, like take one of your backing tracks. Alex has some amazing backing tracks you can go get from his website, and they're really awesome to practice to. So take one of those and have your guitar, don't play, sing. You don't have to be a vocalist to do this. Like you sing what you hear in your head, and if it's not perfect, whatever, it's fine. But you'll probably come up with some ideas that are kind of cool. And then I'm going to go back to the guitar and try to play those ideas, because inevitably what I sing and I'm a singer. Before I'm a guitar player, I'm a singer, and whatever I sing is probably phrased better and way cooler than anything I would play on the guitar, because we all have our like crutch. I have it vocally too, but I mean, like, more so I'm limited by crutches on the guitar, where it's like, I'll play solo. Okay, I'll start here. It's like, how many times you grab the G string and just, it's like every, you know what I mean? It's like, and it can be cool, but like, there's a lot of other ways to start a solo or come up with a melody. And the other thing I've noticed in doing this, I'm gonna do it more intentionally now, but so many of like the melodic ideas that I would sing would best be played like all on one string on the guitar.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, and again, like it's maybe not a practical limitation, but like, limit you saying, all right, I'm going to play solo on one string, and and yeah, you can play that across strings, but just forcing myself to come up with more musical and memorable ideas, which is something you said in a lot of your videos recently. Like, play something, don't be intimidated, don't try to overplay, don't try to play something memorable and melodic, and to start.
Got it.
So
Okay,
that's musicality, but I need help on fluency. So triads, yes, like major triads on like the top three strings, and then the D, the G, the B. Yeah, pretty much across the major triads. I'm on my way, but definitely need minor, diminished. And I'll probably stop there. But beyond, I mean, like I need suggestions, fluency.
So for fluency, I guess what I would, whenever I see someone who is like very comfortable on the fretboard, that to me is like always what just I love about it. Like that when you never lost, right? So you're trying to like find, how can I make it so I've gotten coffee at every one of these shops, right? And I know every barista. That's like fluency in my mind. Like I know everyone there. They know my name, they know my drink, and I know where I like to sit so the sun hits my book the way I want it to. So I guess a way that's less lame than the triads all the way up would be actually taking a line, a melody line, and working your way up. So if you just come up with a line like, and just doing stuff like that. So it's just like you get comfortable, take a simple line that goes from a bottom of an octave to the top of an octave, so that you can just keep taking it up and taking it up and taking it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then doing it on the way down too. Just something like that. I think that's a good way to be like, because playing something melodic as your training, I think it's just more fun, and it's practical. Like you're actually gonna play something like that probably, and then doing that again to a metronome. So I liked your idea on musicality though. So like what I want to do on musicality is doing just chords, and working my way up with the chords. So if I'm going like, but I'm gonna figure out what that is. But it's like trying to make it so I can have my chords move all the way up and move chords all the way down. Jonah, sorry, let me play John Mayer for you.
Yeah.
Actually, never learned that song. You probably know it, actually, right? You know it, right?
It's close. It's close. I mean, like
I was just going by like
hit by that. It's you know this, right? And then, but beyond that, like it's. I end up well, no, that's not it either. That's not it either.
Oh, that's not. Oh, okay.
No, because I do the same thing. It's like oh, cool, I love that song. I'll learn this, and then. But I mean, like, there's something to be said for that too. If you know that it's C sharp minor, and then an A to an E, musicality wise, you can apply all three of those things to that chord progression. If you really like slow dancing in a burning room, it's awesome to learn the exact part that John Mayer plays, but it's, I think, even more beneficial to come up with something on your own that fits within that structure. You've got a rhythm that you need to follow. You've got a chord structure you need to follow, and then it gives you some guardrails to practice some of the things that we have on this list. So if it's a way to use a song you like to get better, and not just mimic exactly what John Mayer is doing, or anybody for that matter. It's a good place to start, though. Arguably.
So back to musicality really quick. I like your idea also of putting on guardrails. So here's my other one. So I'm going to find chords all the way up that make sense. So it's just finding a chord. That's what I'm going to have it be like. Keep going up and keep finding a chord to it. And just keep going up and like not getting frustrated. Like, where am I going? Just keep going up, keep finding whatever chord is there and whatever note is there. Like, there's no mistakes. Just keep going up and then obviously go down to help like build tension, release tension, build tension, release tension through
I love
changes.
that. And that's one of my favorite parts about your playing, like especially in your videos too, is that like the way you incorporate chords just like that. With and there's a melody within there. You're not just strumming chords. You're playing a melody with those chords, and it's just such a great so for me, like I'm gonna put that as like I might not hit that in 30 days, but being able to do that with ease is what I want out of the musicality of the practice routine. And it'll take time. It's going to take time to get there, because obviously you have some of the mechanics of like, okay, what are those triads that you're playing, and becoming familiar with those, and then how to actually use them musically is the next
Right.
step. So that's, I mean, for me, I like that's a added portion for my musicality section.
Yeah, and a guy that I think does a great job of that on lessons is that guy Tim Lurch. He's got a great YouTube channel, and he's got these great courses on what's that big one? Tone Fire, True Fire.
Oh,
there
True
we go.
Fire. Yeah, True Fire.
Yeah, Tim Lurch has got these. I have two of his classes, and I always go back to them. They're so good, and he's a jazz guitarist. But he's got this great. So what you're doing there when you're doing like. That's called voice leading, and it's really for orchestration and piano or for symphonic kind of stuff, right? And so you take the melody line. The melody line is telling you where the chords should go, not the other way around. Because a lot of times as guitarists, we're thinking, well, the chord is here, therefore I play the melody line here.
Right.
So it's just a little kind of a different way of thinking. But if you want to dive further in, Tim Lurch is where it's at. One more final note on this, and then we're going to move on to a gear thing because, well, I have some things to say. But I'm having, and the other drill is just go from a 1 to a 4 to a 5, and like you said, I'm not going to move my fretting hand. So if I'm in A, I'm literally going to go 1, 4, 5, and I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible for me. Obviously, metronome will go on. And just try to like only have those chords, the most basic arrangement you can have, and still make it feel like I need to make it sound like it's, or rather play it like it's important, right? And like it matters. Like make it an important melody through resolution 1, 4, 5. Like, can you do it? Because a real pro can do that.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to do that. Like he's just like you'll go to like see someone great play, and you're looking at their guitar, like what are they doing? And like because the chords are A and D. Like what's going on here? Like he sounds so good. Like I play A and D, and mine sounds not as good as his A and D. It's the same instrument. He's playing the same frets that I would. So what is he doing differently? Obviously, it's your right hand, it's your timing, it's your intention behind the note. It's funny too, because like people get like all hung up, they get all like rationalist and scientific about guitar so much. I'm like, stop trying to measure it so much and start trying to understand like the artistic side of your instrument. There's a you because you are saying something when you're playing an instrument. Um it's very spiritual. Like there's just no other way to describe art. That, like you can't describe it in like a scientific way. Like start trying to feel. Like what are you feeling, and what are you trying to get the listener to feel while you're playing? Play Wonderwall, Tom. That's all you.
Instead of playing it, I'm going to plug a YouTube video on my channel. If you just Google my name and Wonderwall, I think the cover is still out there, and it's kind of a fun version of it. So go find it, and then it'll sound a lot better because I'm gonna be playing and singing an acoustic guitar. So go.
Is it like?
Yes, it is. But the version I have out there is the result of playing many years in bars and playing that song, and then getting bored with playing it the right way and coming up with a totally different way to play it. And that's the version that I think is still out there. It should be. Go look for it. If it's not, I'll put it back up.
You know what version I love actually is Ryan Adams' cover of Wonderwall.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah,
I love that one. I was like, especially the outro. It was this very surprising song, very surprising arrangement. So
it's gear. You said you had a
30-day. Oh, so 30-day challenge starting on Monday. I'm going to post what I'm going to do. You can post what you want to do. Just a quick phone video, and then we'll see if anyone wants to join us.
Love it.
Because I think it's a worthy cause.
There will be a hashtag
So
to be determined.
There will be a hashtag. Yeah, 30-day guitar challenge. That sounds like some like corporate thing. We got to come up with something better. The Tone Town challenge. That's way better.
There it is.
Tone Town practice challenge. Too many words. I don't know. We'll figure that. We'll workshop that. So on gear, right? People are always saying like too much gear, right? Anytime someone releases a new pedal, too much gear, new amp, too much gear. But I think people are saying there's too much good gear. Because Wampler just came out with that reverb delay pedal, right? Stereo. It's really cool. And he was really excited about it. And so I'm like, I actually don't think there's any upper limit on like how much gear there can be and how good it can be. I'm like, I just really think like that's it. Like, you see those guys at Casino Guitars, they're always talking about in a very morose manner, might I add. Every time it's like they took an Ambien before they do their videos. And they're like trying to get the video out before they fall asleep. Like that's like they take like a 30-minute Ambien. Anyway.
Oh, that's funny.
But with the way they talk about gear sometimes, I'm always surprised. I'm like, they seem really annoyed that there's gear. But they have a guitar shop.
Right.
So I'm like, aren't you happy there's gear? Because it's something to talk about. Like if you got a shop, you got to have a reason to talk about. New player series, new Ultra series, new Wampler pedal, the new Fender Jack Pano Verb. That thing, I think it totally flipped the industry on its head. It's like everyone can do, like even the biggest company, the stuffiest, like white collar company, like the company that's like the least rock and roll in terms of how they operate communication wise, is able to do something very unique and cool. I feel like that was it was a big relief for me. Anyway, I don't think there's an upper limit. That's my whole. What's that?
No, oh my God. This is like those satellite interviews on Good Morning America where they start talking over each other and they just can't get it. They can't get it together. Oh my God. Delay.
That's my upper limit though. Like there's no upper limit on guitar. There's no upper limit on gear because there's a lot of cool gear and there's going to be even more cool gear. And it's like, I think that's a good thing. Like you don't have to buy it if you don't want it. That's all.
That's right. Yeah. Like I've it can be overwhelming, I guess, but like don't let it be. If it's not something that's interesting to you, don't go down the rabbit hole. I mean, like, but if it is something that's interesting to you, do it and enjoy it. Like it's part of the, it's not going to necessarily researching gear or getting excited about it or watching reviews isn't going to necessarily, help your dexterity, but it's going to help if it helps your enjoyment of the guitar or excitement, then you're going to be excited to go practice your dexterity so that you can use that gear to its fullest extent. So I agree. I think it's part of the fun, man.
Yeah.
It's
how is
supposed to
this
be
not
fun.
cool? How is your 330 not cool? Like, these are cool
Dude,
things.
it's supposed to be fun. Like when I pick this up, I'm like excited about it. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I want to play guitar better so that I can play this, and have more fun with it. Like that's the thing, man. Have fun.
So another on that point, when someone says like, you don't need more gear, you need to practice. I'm like, but that's the other problem, is that people won't practice. So it's like, it's not that the gear stops them from practicing. It's
No.
just that they're like, I'm not practicing because I'm not practicing.
Yeah.
That's like, and that's why I'm doing a challenge.
Right. I mean, if I was building a pedal, and it was like that was my job and it was my business, and it's like, yeah, I just spent all day with a soldering iron, so gear kind of gets in the way of me playing. It's like, well, yeah, okay, fine. I mean, that's how you exist.
Right.
It's like I don't do that. I'm not building gear. Like the fact that the amp has knobs on it and the pedals have, it's like that's not what it's like. Well, I sat down to practice and then I turned knobs on my pedals for an hour and then stopped. It's like, no, that's not what it is. It's because I don't have a routine. That's what it is. I don't have a defined goal or a defined focus. That's the problem, not the gear.
Right. I know it's just so funny because it's like they conflate these two separate data points. I'm like, me not practicing, me enjoying gear. It's like, see what?
Yeah.
Like two separate. It's like my coffee's cold and I had waffles this morning. See what? These guys acting like they're like in like the core of the earth with like all these monitors of everyone's guitar schedule. They're like, see, look at this trend.
Like, great video idea,
dude. What are you talking about?
Future
You overestimate your like understanding of data like to a significant degree.
Yeah, I got a comment like 2 days ago on an old video where it was like, oh, what did he say? He was
fancy pants. Wow, thank you. What a kind thing to say.
I'm not in instruments, but you're both cute, so I like the stream. Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
Really appreciate that. We try to be cute. My skin routine has been paying off.
Yeah, I started one. Well, that's our other channel. It's another channel. But I got a comment similar to that where it was like, put, whatever, go. I think the comment ended with, go dust off your case queens and practice. And I was like, all right, well, first of all, I only own like 6 guitars and I play 5 of them regularly, like, and gig with them. I mean, it's like I don't have guitars that are sitting in a case collecting dust. First of all, secondly, the video is not to display my abilities on the guitar. It was about a specific thing, that's in an Eric Clapton Stratocaster, and it's like, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, man. Thank you for that. I will go practice. You're right. I'll throw everything away and go practice. That's what I should do.
And again, like, I think my theory is getting proven true all the time, where it's like the people that are most vehement and most, I guess, excitable on YouTube with their comments are the least likely to be musicians. I had some guy give me a whole essay about playing, because I read one thing like, you're playing too many strings, right? People will play all 6 strings when you really just need 3 or 2 or really just 1,
right.
even if you want.
Right. Sure.
And he was like, "You're changing the song too much." Like, I mean, it was long though, so imagine 3 paragraphs, but that's what he was saying. You shouldn't do that. And I said, "Are you in a band?" He said, "No, I'm not in a band." So I suppose, and then he gave me another essay saying, "I guess I'm wrong." And I'm like, "Yes, you are wrong." Like, and again, like, you can be wrong, but like, if you're not, I imagine going to like a biologist, right? And he's saying like, "Oh, this is the name of this spore." I'm like, "Are you sure you named it right?" Like, I would never do that. I'm like some of the gall of these guys. I'm like, I first love your confidence. I'm shocked, but I'm very impressed with how confident you are. It reminds me of my son, where it's my oldest son is 7, And sometimes he'll have this declaration like, "Well, this is how it's gonna be. This is how it is, Dad." And it's, not true at all. But I'm like, wow, he said it with such like confidence that I'm like, that's
Selling.
great. I love that you're confident. I'm not sure if that's true. Let's look that up. But I
Yeah.
love your conviction. But because you're 7, it's not insane. But when you got a guy who's in his 60s saying things that are just not true, I'm like, what is going on here? Who are you? Okay, Tyson. I've been renting and sampling pedals because I'm newer to electric guitar. Not a great guitar player, but adding gear is exciting. Yes. Sometimes I unplug and practice. Absolutely. Are you using Buy or Borrow by chance? That company, Buy and Borrow Music.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know about that. I'll have to
So
check
Buy
it
and Borrow is a company, and actually I might have an in. I'm gonna see if I haven't pitched them yet, so we'll see.
out.
But you can rent gear. They'll send you gear. It's kind of like old Remember Netflix? You could get a DVD in the mail.
Yeah.
Netflix, but for guitar pedals. So
There's like Rent the Runway.
just
Right?
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
you can rent
great.
to own, so it's like layaway pretty much.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
but you can also rent it and just send it back, and you could get like a package of like 2 pedals per month is like your thing, and then they send you a new one, you send them
There you
back,
go.
and you have like a cube.
Tyson, I think it's a great idea, man. Like that's I mean, you get to try gear out. It's exciting. You get a new pedal, you get a new amp, you get a new guitar. It's like you want to go play. I mean, new guitar day. How exciting is new guitar day, right?
Fantastic.
I mean, I remember getting my first guitar, which was not a good guitar. It was a Strat copy from God knows where, but it was like one of the greatest days ever. Like that excitement is so cool. And you don't have to lose it. You should still be excited as you grow older with gear and playing guitar.
So here's 2 of my goals of the channel as it grows. And we're gonna talk about yours right after this. My goal number 1 is to get the guitar community to understand what a joke is, because they don't get jokes.
No,
Like
they don't.
like my I get angry comments all the time when I said I don't like EQ pedals because they're not cool and they're not sexy. Like it's a joke, guys. But it's like these guys are acting like I'm saying like moon landing didn't happen. I mean, it's like the people take offense. I'm like, it's a theoretical EQ pedal in their mind is like this holy grail. I'm like,
Right.
just because pros use it doesn't mean I have to like kneel at this altar. Like, it's a joke. Like, if I can't joke about an EQ pedal, like what can I joke about?
Nothing.
So, and then my other goal is to like Tyson's point, actually, to reinvigorate the excitement and enjoyment in music and guitar, because I just think there's so much focus on the serious side of it. And I guess this ties into the joke. Like, we're just so serious all the time. And I'm like, isn't music fun? Like, that's the only reason I do it, because like it gives me so much excitement and joy. And I'm like, do other people like it? I mean, sometimes I watch these other YouTubers. I'm like, I don't think you like guitar. I can't see it. I'm looking at you playing, and you look so pissed off that you have to play. I'm like, I can't believe I get to play guitar for like somewhat of a living, like almost a living. It's like, I think it's the biggest con in the world, like be able to play music for a living and being recognized as a guitarist. It's like the biggest dream come true for me. So it's like, I just don't understand. I don't understand it. And so I'm going to bring that back. Like, I got to bring this joy and enthusiasm back to guitar community writ large, because it's like, we cannot survive as a community if it's not exciting and fun.
True. It's true.
So, you can go.
I got nothing. No.
Oh,
You're
okay.
driving this bus.
Okay.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, Tyson had another. Yeah, I mean, get sick of if your family or wife. Yeah, I mean,
You hear
do
it?
you hear the difference? You can hear the germanium diode, right?
You hear it clipping? It's
Yeah,
clipping just.
soft clipping. You get that? No, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't. You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't get me. A soft clipping guy.
One of the funniest things was when I made that video for that Joyo King of Kings, which is a King of Tone pedal.
Yeah.
And I was switching between the pedals, and I was like, Oh yeah, see there, that's overdrive, that's hard clipping or soft clipping, and this is in distortion, hard clipping. And then I looked up the manual like mid video. I'm like, okay, so that's the opposite of what I was saying. And like, so whatever I was hearing was my brain just telling me that. And then I went back and I kept that in the video just to be like, okay, like I don't know what I'm talking about. And then I listened to it. I was like, wait, I can't actually hear that much of a difference. Like, but then other people are saying, yeah, huge difference. I'm like, man, like music is just so subjective, which I love. That's a good thing. But I'm like, there's some things I'm like, I actually can't tell the difference. So like, that doesn't mean it's not true. It just means I can't hear it. Like maybe there's a huge difference, but like I'm
Yeah,
not hearing it.
yeah. And then it's like
Sing.
if it sing who.
There you
It's
go.
quite
That's all Tom. Tom's a
oh,
singer.
it's quite a command. I mean, like what should I sing? Let's see. Don't let me down.
Yeah.
Don't let me down. That's all you get for free.
I never would.
That's such a good song, but it's like there's a lot of weird. Talk about a song that I learned and then play totally wrong. I think. Let's see. Raphael says, "I think the trick is to practice hard things, but only play what's easy live for less money than create stress." All right. Well, okay. I'd like to say one thing about that. I think practicing. I don't know about the less money thing, but the important thing, because you look at. I've had this realization. It's like, okay, you know, a lot of times things that people are really love are by huge artists. I mean, they're not like my dad asks me this all the time. Like, is that hard to do? And I'm like, well, that's not the frame to look at it through. It's like, is everything John Mayer, because we were talking about John Mayer, right? Of course, like, is everything he plays hard? No, I mean, like the beginning of Gravity is not hard, but like I didn't come up with that. I can't play it with that same feeling and intention. So I guess yeah, it is hard, but I mean like mechanically, no, it's not hard. So practice things that are difficult. But then like the key though is when you go play live, and this is where I kind of lost what you were saying, Raphael, but I'm gonna try to stick the landing here. When you go play live, that's when it counts. Like what can you stick the landing on live? And it might not be the hardest thing you can play. But you got to be able to do it when you're going to do it. And whether that's in front of an audience or when you sit down to play with a metronome, you got to be able to like execute. So online, let's see.
Yeah, Raphael, I get what you're saying. He's saying, and I believe Raphael. Yeah, so he gets it. Yeah, make it practice. I mean, that's what like the power drain of a live show, right?
Yeah.
You're like practice. This is like your full capacity. You're like, I'm the best player in the state, maybe, right? And then you get on stage and it's like you're 30% lower. Like
Yeah.
your ceiling is 30% lower. So like your average is like down there. And so Raphael's absolutely right. Like you gotta practice to raise your ceiling because every time you get on that stage, you're right about there.
Yeah. Sure.
It's so funny when you're like playing, you're like, how come I'm bad now?
Yeah.
And everyone's looking at you in the crowd like
I feel it here. When we're doing Good Morning Tone Town. I feel it because it's like suddenly it's like compressed. I'm like my abilities are compressed. If I'm just down here, no pressure, I can do as many takes as I want. I'm not even recording anything, whatever. I feel much more. But as soon as you get an audience, as soon as you get like, well, you got to do it now. It changes. So money things,
right.
Gig creates a lot of stress because it's all fancier. Okay, yeah, I see that. I could see that. Yeah.
Too handsome. The true even. Thank you from Ottawa.
Yeah, take it.
Thank you. God, hey, that's two compliments we've gotten to that in our live stream. Like, let's go.
Let's go. Let's lean into it.
What a great end of the week.
I know. I feel good. Thank you, Raphael. I think you're right. I mean, like when you start to get paid to do things, it can become not enjoyable. That can happen. That's true. But I think you can still make it enjoyable. That's why people hired you. They hired you because of whatever you brought to the table. So you gotta maintain that, whether we're making a video about a pedal or a guitar or playing a gig. So facts. Handsome devils. Raphael, thank you.
You guys.
That's three.
So I remember So right before I moved to Nashville, I joined this pretty established covers band. They were top 40, and it was a pretty professional kind of operation, right? Everything was MIDI, it was fractal, it was all wireless, and they had lights and smoke and platforms that you'd step on and stuff would happen. And like a whole like costume change routine. It was a very sophisticated outfit, and I liked probably 10% of the songs that we played. Maybe less. I mean, like I really didn't like a lot of these songs, and especially like the arrangements they would do for it. I'm like, man, I really don't like this. But I found that, like you said, like when you're contractually obliged and the crowd is there and they're expecting. I mean, like it was great to play in front of a massive crowd. That's always fun, especially when they're singing along. But you got to find the things that are enjoyable in that. And Raphael, I'm sure you already know this. It's like you gotta like find the things like okay, maybe I don't like I do like what's that song? Shut Up and Dance with Me. That was like one of the first songs. It was like the second or third song in the set, right? Like I hate that guitar part for some reason. I don't know. I hate playing it. I was like, just it frustrated me playing it, and I never liked the way it sounded in the fractal. But I had to like find a way to because it'll show when you're playing. If you don't like your guitar part, people are like, what the hell's going on here?
Oh yeah.
And so I would have to like psych myself up. This is the best guitar line I've ever heard. And I have to tell myself that. Otherwise, like it would come across like he's phoning it in. And I'd be running across the stage wirelessly, like jumping and doing like David Lee Roth kicks. And for songs that I hated. But it's like it's you only hate it if you let yourself hate it. You gotta be like, hey man, I'm getting paid to do this, and all these people out there in their lawn chairs, they're loving it. So
Tyson, Tyson says if I record my own playing just for myself to track my progress, I get nervous and screw up. Well, I think that's what we're talking about. That you got to practice doing that, and that's a performance. When you decide to hit record, you're performing then, and that feeling of getting nervous and messing up, we all have it. We all do it. It happens every time I do anything. But that's what you have to practice because that's the accountability portion where it's like when you can the people who really set themselves apart are the ones who can sit down and nail that shut up and dance guitar part just bang, and it's like, yeah, I'm doing it live in front of an audience and it's in time, the groove is right, the feel is right. That's not easy to do even if the guitar part is easy to play. Being able to execute in that moment, either if you're hitting record at home or if you're in front of an audience, doesn't matter, but keep going, keep doing it, and you'll get better and you won't be as nervous.
I just got kicked off Wi-Fi. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Okay, great.
You look
So
great. That's 4.
so I will say this, Tyson. So do this challenge with us, man. And every Friday, record yourself, no matter what. Right? Just record. 2 minutes. Don't do more than 2 minutes because it won't. You'll be then. You won't be practicing, right? You won't be a performance. So do this. That'll be your tone challenge, right? Tone Town challenge. Practice whatever you're practicing, and then just record yourself playing something 2 minutes, and then the worst part, listening to your recording, and be very critical of your recording. The key is not to find the good things you did. The key is to find what do I need to. Where's my bottom? How do I bring that up?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, man. Great. But there's 3 of us. Me, you, Tyson. Let's do it.
In.
Oh, you missed the beginning? Yes. Not a weekly challenge, Raphael. We're doing a 30-day challenge of practice that's going to focus on dexterity, fluency, fretboard fluency, and musicality. And so on Monday, I'm going to post a video outlining what I'm going to be practicing and some of the drills that I'm going to be doing. Tom's going to post his thing on Monday as well. And then we'll just check in 30 days from that. I mean, what's the date today? It's the 9th?
8th.
8th? Great. So the 8th of December 8th. We're going to check in. We're going to hold ourselves accountable. Brutal.
Brutal is right. But it's going to be, the payoff will be worth it. Payoff will be worth it. That teenager in the basement perspective is I think that joy we're talking about, or at least that wanting to do this, I'm in. Awesome, man.
Great. There's 4, baby. Not to monopolize.
Oh, no.
One question might be obvious. Vibrato without pulling out of tune. Yes. So obviously there's 3 different ways that you can do vibrato, right? There's the bend, there's the violin, and then there's the moving the whole guitar.
Yeah.
Which is really more of like a showman kind of thing. So I would practice the violin because that'll teach you not to go up above the fret and below the fret, and it's not bending up and down as much. Because what you're doing there is you're actually pushing between the 2 frets like that, and that's what's giving you the modulation in your pitch. Because when you do this, it's just so easy to go for it, especially when you're anxious, especially if you feel like there's a lot of pressure. Because so you're going to do string for a little bit, right? The next thing you're going to do, hey, S-Lang, welcome, welcome. Instead of doing this and instead of doing that, you're actually just moving your wrist. See? You're just moving your wrist like this. And that's how you do vibrato without like you're bending it maybe like 4 or 5 cents up and down. You just let your wrist kind of like go like that. So just practice doing that and practice doing it to a metronome. It's so lame, but you got to do it. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. Just something like that. Just practice, but start with the string, like the violin kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then upgrade to don't push with your fingers at all. Just rotate your wrist and let the string kind of the string is like, it's like balancing on those slack lines, right? You're just kind of like balancing it back and forth and you're using your finger as the pivot point. That's what you're doing.
Get loose. And and understand like why vibrato is a technique on guitar or when singing. Like why does it exist and when should you use it? Every note doesn't need vibrato. Like this has been Alex did a great video on this, and it made me think about using vibrato as a singer. The reasons why or why not you may or may not use it at certain times. Like when you're certain style, I mean, singing is kind of a weird parallel because there's certain types of singing that you do put vibrato on every note. If you're singing opera, classical, very, very seldomly, if ever, do they sing a straight tone. Musical theater, it starts with a straight tone and then always ends with a vibrato. In pop, you almost never have vibrato in a lot of pop, so it's a stylistic thing also. Like, so as you master the skill, start to think about like why and when you might use it. And that will help, I think, too, as you progress through ways to express yourself on the instrument, because ultimately you're always trying to say something, or just get a perfect. Easy done.
Actually, I have a pedal. I'm doing a video on the Digitech whammy.
Okay.
And it like drops your tone.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
It's pretty wild.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's so if you're really disciplined, you can do that with your foot, like an ad. It's pretty cool. Anyway, it's a very unique pedal.
Yeah.
So your channel, Tom. We're gonna talk about this. This will be our final point.
Love it.
So if you guys don't follow Tom, it's disappointing to me that you don't, but you should follow Tom. But Tom, I only met Tom in person this summer, but I've been following Tom for years, and watching his channel is what kind of inspired a lot of the videos that I did. Tom was well ahead of me when I first started, still ahead of me. But Tom's presentation skills were so popular and so professional that Premier Guitar essentially made Tom one of their like top guys. So I'm sure if you guys follow Premier Guitar, you'll see Tom demoing everything: furniture, pedals, guitars, amps, microphones. Right? Did you do mic?
We haven't, but I would love to. I'm hoping we're going to do some mic stuff. That would be great. Not yet.
Yeah.
But,
so Tom is like one of the guys for presenting for one of the biggest channels. Now, this is the problem that happened to Tom. This is what I want to talk to Tom about.
Sure.
Tom has been focusing so much on it that his own channel has been kind of trying to find its place, because obviously if he's presenting stuff and reviewing stuff on Premiere Guitar, his channel really doesn't need to take up that space. And like it would be like redundant for him to do that as
Totally.
well. So and this is kind of what's happening to YouTube right now. Like you'll notice, guys, like I'm doing hardly any gear stuff because one, I don't think people are really wanting it anymore, and also like it's just not as captivating. People want different stuff out of guitar. They want to know what we think. To be honest, they want to know like what am I practicing, what am I playing? Not really a lesson, but like why are you doing this? Why are you in a room with a camera? You weirdo! Like what's wrong with you? And so, Tom, for you, and we've been talking about this a lot, but I think I'm going to put you on the spot and say, like, I think the world wants to see more of Tom, the real Tom, and not presentation Tom, which is a great thing, which is a professional thing. But the world wants to see real Tom, because when I got to know you, when we filmed this video that's coming out next month, I mean, like, Tom's a riot. He's fun. He's relaxed. And so I think the world needs to see that Tom, because again, we're making guitar fun again. Okay.
Thank you. First of all, you said a lot of very kind things, and I agree. Doing this, like, I get to be me, but it is hard. Yeah. Plus, he's Brett, dude. Thank you. That's very kind. Very kind. It's all the filtering that I have on. But that is the plan. That is the plan. You have put me on the spot. You've inspired me. I'm going to do it. I don't know if I agree that the world wants it, but I am eager to share it, because I think when I look at myself and try to figure out like why I'm interested in what other people do, that's what I'm interested in. I want to know about them. I want to know, and I want to know what their story is. I want to know the why. I want to know all those things, and then obviously some of the gear stuff or whatever will come along with that. But that's what makes those other things interesting. And it just depends. Like with the Premier Guitar stuff, like there's not necessarily room for that, nor should there be. I mean, like it's a different thing. It's a totally different genre, like, and I don't blame people who watch Premier Guitar for, I mean, maybe some of them care or want to know, but I mean, like, there's a goal to those videos, and you got to get to that goal. And that has to be what's at the forefront. And that has left me with kind of a rudderless ship on my channel. It may have gone live today. I don't know, but there's one like legacy video on my channel that's going to come out about Buddy Guy and Eric Clapton, and kind of a story, a historical type thing. But after that, I will be meeting Alex's challenge. Not only the 30-day guitar practice challenge, but also the challenge to bring more of myself, for better or worse, to my channel. And I'm excited about it. So if you don't follow me there on my channel, please do. And if you don't follow Alex and you're watching this, what's wrong with you? Subscribe to this. Subscribe.
So, it's the YouTube world has changed a lot, right? Where and you see this really like in what TikTok did to media. TikTok made everything a personal testimony, right? It changed everything from being polished and well produced, which was like the YouTube of like 2015 to 2019, roughly. And then once TikTok hit, and especially during the pandemic, you got this like very personal, my point of view, my truth kind of stuff. But there's something there, because it's like the reason I started doing videos is because I couldn't get a gig to save my life when I moved to Nashville. I was like, well, this is rough. And so I just started I'm like, I got to make videos just to let people know that I actually am a guitarist and I can play live. No one believes me, but I swear I can do it. I'm doing it for decades. But that's just what it was. And then it turned out that there was other people out there that wanted to hear me play. I'm like, well, screw Nashville. Like, I'm just going to play it for the people that want to hear me play online.
That's right.
But and what's funny is that like once you start doing that, then everyone else starts paying attention. They're like, oh, you do play guitar. Like, I've been telling you. And I want to hear like your story of that. Like, why are you even doing any of this?
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
sure.
that's interesting to me because everyone in the chat, everyone that's played guitar, they all can empathize with like, how come people don't want to hear me play guitar? It's a really, it's a big bummer when like Battle of the Bands. Like, it's the first time you hear that. Like when you're in eighth grade and you're in your band, and you play Crazy Train, and no one claps, and then you get last place in Battle of the Bands, and you're like, God, it's so brutal. But you're with your friends playing music. You're like, how come no one likes us? And then you get a little bit older, you start playing pub gigs. You're not 21, so you like aren't allowed to drink. So you're drinking like Shirley Temples during sound check, and you play, and no one claps at the end of your song. It's like, what the hell? No one likes me. No one wants to hear my music. And then you finally get to the point where you're like, okay, like we're selling tickets, we're opening for a decent band, and you play, and everyone's at the bar. And you're like, no one's listening still. And it's just like this constant, like very like in the performing arts, it's like it's the only like place in the world where like you get immediacy of like whether the market wants it or not. And it's you have to be so courageous to like consistently put yourself out there. And I consider YouTube part of that. Like YouTube is like to put out videos when it says no views, no one's watching. People are signing off right away. People are commenting mean things. To be able to continue to do that is just an extension of like this is what it's like to be creative. It's like and to be a musician or to you just are constantly being barraged with people telling you, sorry kid, not good enough. And it takes you back to eighth grade, Battle of the Bands. And that's an interesting story. And I want to hear that story. Like, what was yours?
Yeah,
Like, what was that for you?
you got it. There's a lot. I'm not gonna do it now because we're an hour in, but uh, I have ton. I mean, and I get the sense that that feeling is never gonna go away. Like I've when I look back over the last, what do we got?
Sorry, I got like glass comment.
My wife's
My
boyfriend
wife's
is from
boyfriend's up and just
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
do you watch him play from the corner chair? Is that
Corner chair. Thank you for calling it that, so we don't just keep it kid
no.
friendly.
Yeah, okay.
I 5 open mics a month here, Blackpool, UK. Last one, 2 guitars, play instrumental tracks. Yeah, okay.
You
A
run
little
5 open
boldly
mics a
stuck there,
month.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I love it, man. Raphael, I hope that that's the case. Because where I live, like I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. It's like, well, are there, I'll be 40. I'll be 40 in like 3 months. So I'm like, are there young kids looking to play guitar the way it was when I was 16, or whatever? And it's like I'm so out of touch. I don't know. I hope so, but I'm not sure. And to hear that, there are people interested in that age bracket doing it is awesome. I love it. I think it's great, and it's exciting, and it gives me hope. I do need to go back. One S Lang has been encouraging me to do what Alex has finally got me to do with my channel for years. So S Lang, it took some more prodding, but I'm gonna do it. So there will be more of what you've always told me should be on my channel. So,
Yes.
so there you go.
It's good.
There's at least one other person besides Alex who wants to hear it. That's awesome. All right. So what else?
Thanks for letting us put you in the hot seat there.
I love it. I appreciate it, and I appreciate so much being a part of this because this is part of that. Just talking to people and talking about real things.
Yeah.
You know.
So to reiterate, we're gonna do a 30-day practice Tone Town challenge. All right, and I'm gonna post a video on Monday. Everyone's welcome to join. There will be no rewards. There will be because it is its own reward. Getting good and being disciplined in your musicianship is its own reward. So we'll start on Monday. Tom's gonna post a video. I'm gonna post a video, and we'll go from there. And let's all get better, right? Because then for Christmas, because someone's gonna ask us on Christmas to play something. Hey, play Rudolph. Hey, play Silent Night.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say gladly because I've been practicing.
That's right. Prepare to be blown away, family.
Yeah. Hold on to your eggnog, lady. Here it comes.
Lady, like some random person at your party. Whoever you
Right.
are, hold on to that eggnog.
Yeah, my aunt.
Yeah.
Why'd you say that? Yeah.
Don't call her.
All right,
lady.
guys. Well, thank you for stopping by Tone Town. As always, I'm your co-host, Super Danger.
I am your other co-host, Tom.
And we'll see you next time on the internet.